What if the secret to overcoming life's toughest challenges was as simple as changing the way you think? In a village where hardships seemed endless, one elderly woman held a powerful secret. With nothing more than a smile and a few wise words, she transformed the lives of everyone around her. But could a struggling young mother, weighed down by fear and uncertainty, find hope in the most unlikely place? The answer might just change everything you thought you knew about happiness. In a small village surrounded by nature, there lived an elderly woman who everyone loved. She had silver hair, a face marked with wrinkles, but her eyes sparkled with kindness. Every morning, she'd sit beneath a giant banyan tree, smiling at everyone who walked by. No matter how difficult life seemed, her smile never faded. She lived alone in a little house near the tree. Her husband had passed away years ago, and she had no children to take care of her. Yet, she never complained. She was always cheerful, always warm, and her smile was like a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day. People in the village adored her, often stopping by just to talk, to feel comforted by her calm presence. There was something special about her, a peace that seemed to come from deep within, a peace that the villagers didn't fully understand, but admired nonetheless. She had lived through so much, yet her smile never wavered. She had learned something about life that most people had yet to discover. On the other side of the village, there was Priya, a young mother whose heart was heavy with worry. Her husband had gone to the city to find work months ago, but he hadn't sent any money. Her children were hungry, and she feared they wouldn't be able to survive much longer. Every day felt like a struggle, and her heart felt like it was breaking a little more each time her children cried for food. She tried to stay strong, but the fear of losing everything gripped her more each day. She didn't know what to do. What if something bad has happened to him? What if he doesn't return? What if my children never have enough to eat? These thoughts haunted her at night. Then one day, she heard about the old woman under the banyan tree, the woman who was known for her wisdom and her ability to offer comfort to anyone in need. Priya felt a spark of hope. Maybe, she thought, maybe the old lady can help me. So, with a heart full of fear and uncertainty, Priya made up her mind to visit her. Priya walked slowly toward the giant banyan tree, her heart racing. She was unsure of what to expect, but knew she needed to try something, anything, to find peace. When she arrived, the elderly woman greeted her with a warm smile, as if she had been waiting for her. Priya sat down beside her, tears welling up in her eyes. She couldn't hold back any longer. "Grandma," she said, her voice trembling, "my husband hasn't sent any money. My children are hungry. I don't know what to do. What if something has happened to him? What if we're going to starve?" The old woman listened quietly, her gentle eyes never leaving Priya. After a moment, she placed a hand on Priya's and said softly, "My child, when we fill our minds with fear and worry, our hearts grow heavy. But when we fill our minds with good thoughts, our hearts grow light. And sometimes, when we choose to think positively, good things begin to happen." Priya wiped her tears away, looking at her in disbelief. "How can I think good thoughts when everything around me feels so bad?" she asked. The old woman smiled kindly and said, "Let me tell you a story. Once there was a poor man sitting by a river. He had nothing, no food, no money, no family. Every day he cried, feeling like he had lost everything. An old woman came across him and asked, "Why are you crying, my son?" The man replied, "I have nothing. How can I be happy when I have nothing?" The old woman paused for a moment, then continued. The woman smiled and said, You have the river that flows endlessly. You have the trees that give you shade. You have the sun that warms you every day. Look around you. There is beauty and life everywhere. If you focus on what you don't have, you will always be sad. But if you start to focus on what you do have, you will find peace. Priya listened closely, her heart softening. The old woman's words seemed so simple, yet so powerful. The man took the woman's advice. He began to notice the beauty around him, the river, the trees, the sun. Slowly, his sadness faded, and he began to feel better. He started to work hard, and little by little, his life began to change. Priya looked up at the old woman, who was now smiling at her. "You see, my dear," she said, "the man's life didn't change because of magic. It changed because he changed the way he thought. When we think positively, we find the strength to face our challenges." Priya left the old woman's side feeling both confused and hopeful. Could thinking positively really change my life, she wondered. But one thing was clear. The old woman's words had planted a seed in her heart, a seed of hope. The next morning, Priya woke up and told herself, "Today will be a good day." It felt strange at first, forcing herself to think positively when everything seemed to be falling apart. But she kept saying it over and over. Each morning, she worked harder than ever, caring for her children and trying her best to remain hopeful. She still had no news from her husband, and the days felt long. But Priya kept trying to focus on what she had, her children, her strength, and her determination. Despite her best efforts, however, the fear still lingered. What if he doesn't return? What if things don't get better? She would think late at night. But each morning she woke up and told herself, "Today will be a good day." It wasn't easy, but she was trying. Weeks passed, and while the situation hadn't drastically changed, Priya's mindset was shifting. She started to feel just a little lighter. And then, one day, a letter arrived. It was from her husband. He had found work in the city and was sending money back home. Priya's heart leaped with joy. She couldn't believe it. Tears filled her eyes as she read the letter. Her husband was coming home. They wouldn't have to worry anymore. Priya ran straight to the old woman's house, eager to share the good news. She found the woman sitting under the tree, smiling as always. "I did it, Grandma," Priya cried, holding up the letter. "My husband found work. He's sending us money. Everything is going to be okay." The old woman smiled warmly and said, "You see, my dear, when you choose to think positively, good things come your way. Problems will always come, but with a hopeful heart, you can overcome anything." Priya felt a deep sense of gratitude and peace. The old woman had been right all along. Soon, the old woman's wisdom spread throughout the village. People came from all around, seeking her advice. Her simple but powerful words about thinking positively began to change the lives of everyone who listened. Priya, now living a life full of hope and gratitude, continued to follow the old woman's advice every day. She told herself, "Today will be a good day," and slowly her life transformed. The village too began to change. People faced their challenges with hope, and their lives became brighter. The old woman had taught them all a valuable lesson: the power of positive thinking. When we focus on the good, we find strength, hope, and solutions. Life isn't always easy, but with a positive attitude, we can face anything that comes our way. And the most important lesson of all? A hopeful heart is a strong heart.